Morning, everybody. Um, so I just had a conversation with a cop friend of mine about this whole brick gate, let's call it. Um, but I wanted their perspective in terms of what the law says and what they would do personally, and if they found themselves in that situation. And came with a very telling response. So first and foremost, the response was them as a law enforcement officer. If they're off duty, they're calling 911, walking away, filming, telling them exactly the direction that the person went into, and giving the description. They said they're not even going to stick around to film, but they're walking away, giving the description, giving the direction the person ran off into if they ran off into them, but they're giving the description of the assailant. The reason, and I was like, well, you're a law enforcement officer. Why wouldn't you go over there and break it up? They said, well, first and foremost, I'm out of uniform. And when the cops get there, the job of the cops is to see who is the aggressor. They don't go and ask the situation, whatever it is. They look and see who is the aggressor in the situation. So if they are over there welling on this person, trying to save this other person, the cop is going to go after them, not the person that was the aggressor. And no matter what, you're automatically going to jail because you still assaulted someone, you know, or worse, say if guns are drawn and someone, whatever, hey, they're going to you. They're trying to, and when they get to the scene, that they said as a cop, if they see that, when they get to the scene, they're looking for the person that's the aggressor. They're not looking to see if it's the whole situation. They're looking for the aggressor. So they're going to go at the person that went out there, the savior. They're the ones that the cop is going to go after. So they said they did the same thing. Call 911, walk away, and tell them in the description. They said their number one priority when they're out of that uniform, their number one priority is to get back home to their family because their spouse has enough to worry about when they're in that uniform, but they don't need to be worried about that when they're out of the uniform, right? So I also say, what are you looking at in that situation as a cop? They said, no matter what, the hero in that situation, you still assaulted someone. You still assaulted someone. You should have called 911, gave a description, let us handle it. Or you should have told that woman in that situation to run. That's what a cop would tell a civilian, a bystander in that situation. Do not be the hero because it's going to always come back bad on you. And then the cop gave me a scenario of a situation where he's been to a house, a domestic, he's been to a house over several times over domestic violence disputes. And he's like, so even if it's your family member calls you saying that their spouse put the hands on them or whatever. So you go over there and you put your hands on your family member's spouse. You in that person's house assaulting them, not your house. You're in that person's house assaulting them. So you are automatically in trouble. You are automatically going to jail because you trespass on their land, assaulting them, as opposed to calling the authorities to handle that situation. Not only that, but they said that in this situation, it is the female spouse in this situation that has the record for domestic violence. They said that this female will go and well off on her spouse and and keep going until the spouse hits her to get her to stop. But then she wants to go and call her family and everything to try to get them on that spouse. Said the spouse is well known, connected dude in the he got some people. So he's like, if one of the female spouses, family members, went on there, wailed on this dude, the female spouse's relative would end up in jail. Not only that, but this dude would have hit up one of his boys and would have been like, look, he got to go. He got to go. So now you have your family member is going to jail, and you also have your family member got a contract on him. The whole time, this female keep going back to her spouse. He said, don't get in that situation. He said, when you in that situation, let them people handle it out. If she don't want to go the legal route to separate from her spouse, let it be. Let it be, homie. Like, he's like, in that situation, they always get called out there. The woman always, is the one that was the aggressor. They have a witness who is a child in that situation. The child is always the witness, and the child doesn't even go defend the mother. Now, I'm not sitting there saying that domestic violence is right. I'm not saying that at all. I am wholly against it. But this is a cop's recount. It's not my recount, it's a cop's recount. And this is the example that the cop gave me. So the moral of the story the cop gave me was call 911. Do not get yourself in these situations of getting harmed, because most time you're gonna come out on the bad end of it. Call 911, let them handle it, let the legal system handle the whole situation. Go home to your family. Your responsibility is to call 911. That is from the legal perspective in all sides. And I'm a person that don't want to, I've never been in jail. I'm about to be 38 in a month. Never been in jail, never been in handcuffs. I never want to be in handcuffs. So I'm gonna follow what that cop says. I suggest you guys do too.